delivery driver. Terry Williams and Peter Hutchings both face capital murder charges in the shooting death of Mark Miller. Now, according to court documents, Williams made the call to the China King restaurant using Hutchings' cell phone and gave her mother's cell phone as the call backup number. The prosecutors say that Hutchings also admitted to investigators of the couple's involvement in last week's robbery and shooting of Miller at an East Side apartment complex.
Somebody figured out my big secret the other day. It was on Amazon. A guy was reviewing Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. He said, Colin, I really liked your book, but it's very repetitive. I said, oh, damn it. Somebody figured it out. Because every single story I've ever written about racial violence is all one story I'm trying to tell 1,000 different ways. The story is there's an enormous amount of black mob violence, black on white crime, and black criminality out there, and that the press is ignoring, denying, condoning, excusing, encouraging, and even lying about it. That's the story. It's one story. But it keeps happening over and over and over and over and over and over and over. So here we have a story about a pizza guy. If somebody called me up and said, hey Colin, did you hear about the delivery guy that got killed? I would have to say, come on, man. You got to narrow it down for me. Like, this happens all the time. It's happening all over the country. In my little city of Wilmington, Delaware, where I live, in a chocolate city. It's happened twice within 50 yards of my house in the last year. Man, no wonder when you do order a pizza, no wonder, like, you know, they really, like, are so super careful about it. But anyway, so that's what these two stories are. Two stories, two different cities. They are identical stories. A black person kills a white delivery driver. That's the story. Sometimes people say, Colin, can you put up links to that story? Could you put up links to this story, to that story? I really want to know the details. I say, why? Why do you want to know that? You know everything there is to know. You know, reporters, they'll fill these stories with irrelevant details, but they refuse to tell us what is really important, which is this is an enormous epidemic. If you look at the Bureau of Labor statistics, the driver category is one of the most dangerous. That's because they mix in long distance truckers with bus drivers and cabbies and people to deliver pizza. If you just put in delivery drivers by themselves, I'm pretty sure that would be the most dangerous job in the country, not followed too far behind by a bus driver and things like that. But it's the same story. And every time I start reading one of these stories, I really just say, oh, come on, man. Didn't you see the stories about this? Didn't you see the bad stories where people die? Didn't you see the good stories where people carried a gun and defended themselves? And they lived. The robber died. And so I can hear some drivers out there going, well, Colin, I'd lose my job if I carried a gun. Come on, man. Don't say stupid things on this channel. Are you really suggesting that it's worth risking your life? Your life versus the possibility of getting fired from a job, the kind of job you can find again in 5 minutes after you get fired from that one? Listen, if you know anybody in that business, you know, a lot of people do it. They just do it for a couple minutes, right? A couple of weeks, a couple of months, just between things. Oh, I'll take a job doing this, doing that. All of a sudden, they're getting called into a sketchy neighborhood. All of a sudden, they're getting called into a good neighborhood with sketchy characters. Now I'm using euphemisms. This thing about killing pizza delivery drivers, and Chinese food drivers, it's a black thing, okay? Let's put it this way. It's much more of a black thing than Sean King will ever be a black thing. So, this kind of brings me back to the point of this channel and the point of don't make the black kids angry. There are a lot of people walking around this country in kind of a daze, in a haze. They're ignoring this enormous amount of violence and mayhem and chaos. They're ignoring the enormous amount of danger they are in. If you're a delivery driver, you better believe they're ignoring that. Oh, it's not going to happen to me. I'm driving to a safe neighborhood. Yeah, nice. That's what every single one of these guys thought. That's why I want you to share this channel. Subscribe to it. Like the video. Leave a comment if you want. And for heaven's sake, go read Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. Grab a copy of that and give it to somebody who needs it. Since a few months ago I got kicked off of YouTube, then I basically went back up the next day with a new channel. We've had 1.5 million people watch these videos. I do a lot of writing for American Thinker and lots of other places, lots of tweeting, lots of Facebook. That's millions and millions of people that we're touching with all these videos and articles and books, and Facebook and Twitter. Lots of people. But every time I see a story like this, I think, somehow I know that we are 1, 2, or 3 degrees of separation from that person. Somebody within the sound of my voice could have saved that person's life. But you decided not to. You decided that you were worried your friends were going to raise their eyebrows about this video on your Facebook page, or sharing it to your YouTube channel, or tweeting it. Come on, man, the stakes are high. And guess what? You know too much now to feign ignorance.